Okay, I was talking about copying the notes. Uh, you can try copying more than one at a time. You'll see what I mean about editing them becomes a little bit more difficult. So I just copied them one at a time, made it easier. Okay, now then we're going to be turning off our levels. Um, so basically, what is that for? I'm going to have to find that. Oh, it got moved. That's weird. Okay, I'm going to have to check that. Anyway, what I did for these things, for my dimensions, that's weird. They got moved in. Um, because I wanted them out here. They were supposed to be out here, but they were not supposed to be thick lines. And what I did is I drew a short 1 foot line on top of my level when I had my levels turned on so that I could pull dimensions from um, from where my truss bearing top of wall is, first floor, top of foundation, and top of footing. Of course, the footing you can dimension right off of that. Okay, but I found it easier if I would just draw those little short lines and make them thin lines, and then pull a dimension between them, and then just did a text box for each of those things. And we only need it on this one particular view. Yeah, look at that. Some of the stuff moved. Anyway, okay. So, and put the notes in. Now, one thing you're going to have to do is your footings, your column footings inside the house and the bearing wall footing are going to show up in some of these views and some of these elevation views. So you can see right there is one of those column footings. There's another one. And so basically, I just selected those and hid them with a right click and hide so that they don't show up, because if they do show, it looks confusing. Okay. Um, look at my notes here. Roof slope. Okay. If your clapboard siding is looking weird and that the pattern is not showing up, then go in and edit your clapboard siding material. This should have been taken care of a couple of weeks ago, but for some reason, some of them have been changing on people. So right here under graphics on foreground, set that to sorry, set that to 6-inch parallel. Okay, and then your pattern should show up for you. Okay. All right, and let's see my notes. Okay, in our east and west elevation, we got these window wells, and we didn't actually model them in place, but I just drew sketch lines. Okay. As long as it's looking kind of similar to what's in the drawing, it's fine. But I drew one, kind of got it dimensioned, and then selected everything in that, and then copied it and pasted it into my other one. And was able to move it around and get it in place. Okay. So I drew that with just the hidden bracket line style. Okay. The grade beam note, I don't know exactly what sheet it's going on right now, so I just put the note with some question marks in, and so we'll deal with that when we get to it. Uh, once again, check your footings here. I think that one looks good. Let's look at west side. Here we go. Okay, so kind of the same thing. Um, check your stuff and make sure it's looking good. And then once you've got all your notes in place, the dimensions that you need, then on each of your elevations, come over here in your properties and come down to identity data and click view template and assign the architectural elevation view template to it. Okay, and then we'll change our titles on sheet to be like what's shown on the printed drawings, which I think it just says right side, left side. Checking my paper. Yeah, right side elevation, left side elevation. So this one is left side. Okay, and apply that view template to each of your views, and then we'll drop them into our drawing sheets. Sheet A1 is going to be front and rear elevations, and so I pulled those in. Okay, and you may have to play. You're gonna have to play with lining these things up. And so one thing you can do is on your drawing sheet, you can turn on the grid guide, and you can do it up here, where it creates a new one. Excuse me, grid guide 1, while is a little dense, it works out fine. And so I use this to line things up and kind of get my spacing. So I've kind of got an equal amount of space between each of the things. And so I use that to line things up. And turn that off. Okay, my side elevation, same thing. Kind of playing with, turn the grid guide on, kind of play with it to get everything lined up and looking good. Okay, window wells, shingles. I think that takes care of elevations for everything that we need. And then my next video, I'll talk about the wall section that we're going to put in. Okay.